So, real quickly before I end the videos here, we went from a Pentium 4 Hyperthread to a Core 2 E6700, and we went from 5 gigs RAM, 512 megabytes of RAM, to 3 gigs. I'm sorry, 2 512 megabytes for a gig to 3 gigs using 2 1 gig sticks. So it's 1.5 and 1.5 per channel for the 3 gigs max that this motherboard supports. And I have it chock full of drives. The disk 0 right there at the top, that's the PATA drive. There's the SSD there and 2 HDDs. Both of those are 250 and the SSD is 240. The PATA is only a 60, but it doesn't matter because it wouldn't really slap too much on that. And one of those drives, during the time that I was using this computer with only 1 gig of RAM, I had set up a virtual partition for virtual RAM, a page file partition, which is the G partition there. I believe it is, yeah, the G. So that partition is 3 gigs. And I, went into the Windows and set it up to use that partition for page filing in addition to what it already was using on the C drive. And I believe that really helped some of the performance during the time that I was using this machine with a Pentium 4 processor and 1 gig RAM. So it's not like, in comparison to today's computers, it's nothing all that special, but looking at it from the from a point of view of what was originally in this machine to what's in it now and what it's able to do is definitely an improvement and certainly upgraded. It's also maxed out. The motherboard can't take any more higher of RAM or any faster of a CPU. So I feel good about it. It's been maxed out. It can run a lot of games. I have a ton of games installed on here too, many of which are old, and that was sort of the point. Like, Doom, Duke Nukem, Unreal, a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. So yeah, there we are. This machine's done. And like I said, I'll do one more video of like just showing it off in the dark. Thanks for watching and following along with all the videos. I will have I'll probably do another quick video over that build right there that I had just finished up a little while ago. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked all these videos, give them a thumbs up. If you didn't like them, you know what to do. Give them a thumbs down. And feel free to subscribe. I'll put out some content here and there as I do builds or come across a problem and I learn how to fix it and things like that. Okay, so here is my final video in this long journey with this computer here. Initially, when I got it, it was in a server case, and a little bit was known about it, that it had a Pentium 4 processor in it, 1 gig RAM, and that was pretty much about it. When I received it, the person didn't know whether it worked or not, and I wasn't sure if it was something with the BIOS, a motherboard specifically, maybe their operating system. I really wasn't sure, so I went through a whole lot of troubleshooting and a variety of steps to try to get the thing running again. And I think I know what happened is the previous owner probably tried to upgrade the operating system to Windows 10, and they were probably doing what I initially tried to do, which was use that DVD-ROM drive. And when I was doing that, I was getting that strange orange and white striped screen, like the orange screen of death, which I read about, and other people were having different issues with it. Some of them were talking about like BitLockers and stuff like that, which wasn't exactly my problem specifically. this motherboard did need a BIOS update, which took me forever to find. And when I first read about this motherboard and updating the BIOS with the Easy Flash, it had said something about using a floppy drive, and there was no mention of CD-ROM at all. It wasn't until I decided to just load into the BIOS Flash program to see whether or not, you know, what it would do after reading about Easy Flash 2 being able to support flash drives and things like that. This, I was having trouble getting to boot to a flash drive initially anyhow, which is what sent me to the DVD-ROM. Turns out that, one, the USB 2.0 was disabled, and I don't know how that would have affected at least booting into the flash drive, but maybe it did, especially because the flash drive I was using was a 3.0 one, and that may have been an issue there. But also, even after that, I had to manually press, it was like F8 to get into the bootloader options to choose manually what to boot to. Once I was able to do that, I was able to at least get in, you know, the install going from a flash drive, as opposed to trying to use a DVD-ROM. And so, yeah, I feel like that's how this machine ended up being nearly scrapped, is because someone tried to upgrade the operating system and was unable to. So they just put everything back to factory. Well, factory, like just default the way it was. They probably removed whatever RAM they may have tried to upgrade and put it back to what was in here when I got it. Because I'm presuming maybe they read some of the same information I may have, which was that this motherboard was supposed to support 4 gigs of RAM, and it actually only supports 3, which is just weird because it has a 64-bit operating ability to run a 64-bit processor, which should, you know, obviously handle a 64-bit operating system. But there'd be no point at all in putting in a 64-bit operating system when the motherboard here only sees 3 gigs of RAM. So that wasn't going to work. I mean, obviously, you know, I could go 32-bit, which is what I did. But getting to that point was a nightmare. I really couldn't figure out why it was working, but yet not. It was bizarre, because once I got everything connected into this case here, with the original processor, and the original hard drive, and, you know, RAM, all that stuff, I was finally able to boot into the Windows XP that was on this machine, so it was functioning, just not well. It needed the BIOS update, and you had to install Windows from a flash drive and not a DVD-ROM. Although, admittingly, I didn't try doing it again after doing the BIOS update. Maybe the DVD-ROM would have worked then, I don't know. But I preferred going flash drive anyways. It's much faster than optical drive would be. So, here we are. It's finally finished. This is the last video in what I would guess is a series. I'm assuming I'll end up uploading these videos individually into like a playlist. I might try mashing a couple of them together to make like a longer video as opposed to some short ones. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But here we go. We'll turn it on one last time. And I do intend... Oh, yeah, I gotta actually turn the power on. That would help, wouldn't it? Let's get down here. Oh... This isn't usually this complicated. Normally it's a lot easier to reach. Alright. So what I do find interesting is, at least from my point of view here on my camera from the phone, is that these lights appear light blue, like a bluish green, almost like aqua. There we go. Anyhow, they're actually quite green. Like, to the human eye, on the other side of, you know, without a camera, they'd look green. But when I look at this computer right now through the camera, I see like a bluish green. It's really bizarre. Anyhow, this here is the finished computer. Finished product. I did talk about this one over here in another video, how I worked on this one doing something similar-esque but with newer hardware. Newer than this hardware anyways. This one here was really about beautifying, you know, older hardware and doing like a sleeper build, except in reverse, you know. But yeah, the lighting is much more appreciated in a dark room. I have my light on right now, so I mean, you know, some of it's kind of washed out a little bit, I guess. Let's see if we can loop around here. Yeah, so I mean, you can still see what the colors look like and stuff, but not nearly as nice as, you know, when the lights are out, of course. Anyhow, I do intend on doing like a quote-unquote B-roll, a B-roll of the computer with, you know, like the lights out and just taking videos and pictures of what it looks like in the dark. So anyhow, we're going to do one real quick, like, I guess, demo here real fast. We'll pull up a game. And I guess what we'll do here, you know what, we'll run the benchmark for Fear. Oh, while we're waiting for that to kind of load up a second here, I mean, it's almost done. There it comes. There it is right there. Anyways, I also really like the back, how the USBs light up. It's pretty cool. And I didn't even really do that intentionally, but yeah, I like that. Alright, so alright. I believe it's under here. There we go. I had already, as you might be able to see there, I've already got it set to custom. Pretty much everything was within high, medium to high. I mean, it's only a 1 gig graphics card anyhow. But yeah, I think I actually can't recall exactly the settings anymore, but I know it's within medium to high. And the last time I tested the settings, we got like 60 frames per second minimum with like 140 or something max. I don't remember anymore. And yeah, I mean, you know, this game was able to push the limits of some computers, but not as hard as, like, you know, some newer games. But sure enough, it's still a nice little benchmark for what we've got going on here. Alright, here we go. Oh, minimum 57. Last time it said 60. Maximum 323. Average 141. Those numbers are slightly different than the first time. Not by much. Maybe there's something running in the background for a moment there. I don't know. But last time I got 60 frames per second minimum. And I mean, really, 57 to 60, that's like margin of error. But yeah. And I mean, you know, I guess it's not really saying that much, considering considering the age of the game, but then again, I mean, it's almost around the time that the hardware in this had come out, I believe. Yes, you know, ish. Anyways, I mean, it's possible that the game even came out after some of this hardware. It's hard for me to recall. And now I'm just kind of rambling. So anyways, yeah, there we are. That's this machine in action and working, from old to quote-unquote new, with some newer stuff put in it, like a newer SSD and a new 3.0 USB port, you know, for the front header and the back there. And yeah. Well, anyways, there we go, and thanks for watching.